Okay, last time we looked at the view that you are your mind. That is, that there's some aspect of your mind that's necessary and sufficient for your survival. And we looked at some problems with that view. Today we're going to look at something called body theory. Now, looking at body theory will include a motivation for mind theory, because body theory often sees itself as the underdog. So the idea is it's pretty intuitive to think that what I need for me to persist is for my mind to persist. And the body theorist thinks it's a little odd to think that what I need for me to persist is for my body to persist. So my body theorist feels kind of like an underdog. So the body theorist thinks I have to set up mind theory and say, here's why it's good. Or I should say, here's why people think it's good, but it's really not. Those really aren't good reasons to accept mind theory. Okay, so first up, what is body theory? Well, body theory is the view that you don't just inhabit your body, that you are identical with your body. You are the same thing as your body. Here's the basic idea. People are their bodies. And this gives a criterion for persistence. Two people, X and Y, are identical if and only if their bodies are the same. And remember, we have numerical identity or quantitative identity in mind here, not qualitative identity. So when we say two people are identical if and only if their bodies are the same, we don't mean that their bodies look exactly alike. We mean they're literally the same particular body. Okay, so here's an objection to body criterion that mind theorists often put forward. And it's that it seems intuitively like body switching is conceptually possible. Now notice here we're not saying that like you're actually going to switch bodies with someone. We're just saying that the idea of body switching makes sense. Well, if you identify a person with her body, if you think what it is to be, say, Barack Obama is to be Barack Obama's body, then you're not going to think Barack Obama could switch bodies. It wouldn't even make sense to you. But if you identify a person with her mind, then you might say, well, what it is to be Emma Goldman is to have a certain mind. And if you just took that mind and stuck it in another body, then you'd have Emma Goldman in a different body. Not that that's going to happen, but rather that it's conceptually possible. It's thinkable. It's something you could imagine happening. And if you identify a person with her mind, it seems like you can perfectly well imagine that happening. Okay, so why should we think we can imagine body switching? Well, there's a wide variety of movies that depict body switching. This is Freaky Friday. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan's characters switch bodies. This is a movie called like Father Like Son. Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron's characters switch bodies. This is a movie called Wish Upon a Star. I don't. Katherine Heigl is one of the people. I don't remember the other one's name. I guess it's Danielle Harris. They switch bodies. It's like a sister and two sisters that find each other annoying and have very different personalities switch bodies. I can't remember the name of this movie, but it's Fred Savage and Judge Reinhold, father and son, and they switch bodies. There's all sorts of movies, the point is, that depict a person moving from one body to another. Well, if it were conceptually incoherent to even imagine switching bodies, then these movies wouldn't make any sense. When you watched these movies, I guess Freaky Friday is probably the most popular of these movies, so let's look back at it. When you're looking at Freaky Friday, you would say to yourself, well, look, the mother is acting very strange, but you would refuse to even suspending disbelief, you would refuse to watch the movie and think the daughter has taken over the mother's body and the mother has moved into the daughter's body. That wouldn't make sense to you. You'd say instead the mother is sort of having a nervous breakdown and acting like a child, and the daughter is sort of having a strange experience and acting like an adult. But you wouldn't say that the person, the daughter herself, has moved to the mother's body, or that the person, the mother herself, has moved to the daughter's body. But of course, when you're watching the movie, that's exactly what you say. That's exactly how you see it. And that's how the filmmakers intend you to see it, as the mother inhabiting the daughter's body and the daughter inhabiting the mother's body, which suggests that you can at least imagine body switching. Okay, this is all related to numerous stories throughout history. Perhaps the most famous is The Prince and the Cobbler. So here you have the prince and the cobbler. The cobbler is supposed to be holding shoes. That's what's in her hands to indicate that she's a cobbler. Well, let's make it a he for various reasons. So the prince and the cobbler have certain mental properties, and their mental properties switch. And now the prince, the idea goes, is in the cobbler's body, and the cobbler, the idea goes, is in the prince's body. Okay, so if body switching is conceptually possible, then there's a problem with the body criterion. Because if we really do identify people by their body, if that's what we see a person as being just the same thing, as identical with their body, then we would say, look, it doesn't even make sense to think about switching bodies. But instead we say it does make sense to think about switching bodies. So it looks like body criterion isn't plausible. Okay, this is what leads us to the mental criterion, that two people are identical if some aspect of their mind is connected in the right way. And this view makes perfect sense of the body switching movies. Well, the body theorist can't accept that body switching is possible. The body theorist thinks that you are identical with your body. So the idea of moving to a different body doesn't make any sense because it couldn't be you who moves because you and your body are the same thing. So the body theorist needs to offer a reply to these kind of body switching cases. That is, the body theorist needs to say, here's why it doesn't even make sense to think about body switching, or at least it's not possible in any deep sense. And we'll stop there today, and next time we'll start up with why the body theorist thinks that body switching isn't possible, that in fact it doesn't make sense.